Good day, gamers. Today, we're going to be working with triggers. Now, this is going to be something that we'll be working with a lot in subsequent projects with, and if you are planning on doing the Path of the Wizard, this will be something that you'll definitely want to sink your teeth into. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to create an asset that's going to act as a trigger for our effect to happen. In this case, with the effect we're going to be working with is a pre-made effect called Confetti Celebration. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's create I just did a right click. I'm going to say 2D object. I'm going to say sprite. I'm going to call this sprite confetti trigger. Okay. One thing I need you to keep track of when it comes to the Z axis, where it says position. This is the z-axis. Know that that's the third dimension. X and Y would be like left and right, up and down. In this case, we're working with 2D games, so we want to make sure that everything is on the same z-axis. So where it says here, sometimes it just gives you a random value here. For the z-axis, make sure it's set to 1. Okay? Okay, the other thing we're going to do is, as far as the sprite, we're going to go ahead and select one. And again, if yours is not, if it's just like that, just expand it like that. And we're just going to call it, it just was a tile. And then let's just say tile ground, okay? Double click on that. Now what that's going to do is, you see I've got a little tile there. I'm going to go ahead and just move that over. Okay, you see this will give us kind of like a visualization of what this trigger is going to look like. Okay, I can change the size of it by selecting the scale tool. Actually, we'll do the rect tool. Okay. All right, so now this is going to be, we're going to add a different component called a box collider. Okay, so add component, and we're going to type in 2D box collider. Box collider 2D. So now, this is going to be something that's this is a hitbox, okay? This will be something that our programming will look for. It's like, hey, if I detect the presence of another collider in this box collider, I'm going to do something. So I'm going to say here where it says is trigger, we're going to select that because we don't want the physics engine to be working with this. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to add a pre-existing script. We're going to call this, it's going to be called simple trigger. So in simple trigger, all right, simple trigger is basically going to receive information from the box collider 2D component, and that when it it detects the presence of the player body, it's going to do something. Okay. Before we get too far, though, I'd like to you to go to in your mod resources, mod assets, mod resources, particle prefabs. There's a predefined effect called this confetti celebration. I want you to go ahead and click and drag that to where it says confetti trigger. Okay, so I'll give you a preview there. Go ahead back to the trigger, and what we need to do is where it says trigger body. Okay, we want the player to trigger this effect. So where it says none, we can click on this button here, and we're going to just double click on player. Okay. So on trigger, enter, do something. We're going to click on this plus button. We're going to say, where it says confetti celebration, make sure we're clicking and dragging this one. We're going to click and drag that to where it says none and object. And now we're going to select where it says no function. We're going to go ahead to particle system, play. All right. A lot of this stuff we could do via code, but this introductory project, we're doing a ton of stuff in the editor. Okay, so this simple trigger script is something that you don't have to have all this selectable and able to do in the editor. You could instead specify it to happen. So let's test our effect. We've got our player going to trigger particle system.play, and then the celebration that's in our hierarchy. Let's play it. And there we go. So this could be useful for if you'd want to have some sort of celebration when the player gets to a certain part of the level, or something interesting like that. Okay? The other thing you can do is if you go ahead and you unclick the sprite renderer it's now invisible. Okay, the Box Collider 2D is still there, and if you'd actually want to adjust the size of that, you go to where it says Edit Collider, and you see this green outline. That's how you can adjust the Box Collider to be a specific size. Okay, that's how you can change the old hitbox. All right, folks, pretty intense lesson compared to the other ones. I wish you the best of luck. Great stuff.